Today is a day that I changed my life forever.
Let's hear it.
I'm not going to change it forever, but I'm going to change my life a little bit. All right. So like, I feel like a fat tub of lard right now. Okay.
That's wild.
So like, I put on these pair of jeans, these pair of khakis on before the show because the color actually looked better with the color wave that I was rocking right now. But then I put them on and I went to the store and I was looking at myself in a reflection in the mirrors at the store and I was like, this ain't it, chief. This ain't it. Like, this shit looks, I could do a squat in them, but bro, they look fucking tight. You know what I'm saying?
Tight where? Like in the thighs or
type shit. And, around the waistband a little bit, but like I had breathing room, like towards a tail end.
I don't think it looks bad. These are the khakis?
These aren't them.
Oh.
No, these aren't them. I took them off.
I was about to say, these don't look bad.
I couldn't say, because then I looked in the mirror and I was like, I got to do post photos. Like, I got to do photos after the podcast. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, this ain't it. Let's change. So I'm currently 225 pounds. Okay.
That's not bad.
To me, it's my peak weight. Okay. That I've been up to 225 once before. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was at 225 when we did an Atmosphere Music Festival the first year. And I remember watching the videos and the recaps and the vlogs. And I was like, damn, man, you look really fat. And and my haircut wasn't it neither. It was like real height and tight. It just wasn't looking good, right? Ironically, when you and I had our podcast, I was dating some girl at the time. And we had mentioned her. And I was dating someone. So I was dating someone. I lost my focus in the gym. And now I'm, going out eating, having fun, blah, blah, blah. Got to 225. She broke my heart. I'm fat. And I had nothing to live for, I'm like, damn it. Like I got Atmosphere Music Festival. I was going through a heartbreak throughout that entire festival, but we got through it, right? So now I woke up this morning, 225, right on the dot. I had a big night last night. I went out to the Chinese buffet, ate a lot of food. So I'm definitely bloated, right? But I'm trying to get down to 200 pounds. Okay. And today is the day we get back to the gym because my body has fully recovered from snowboarding and eating shit left and right. So
double blacks.
Yeah, the double blacks and everything like that, bro. So I'm excited to get back in the gym. My goal is to get to 200 pounds for Atmosphere Music Festival. It's feasible. Atmosphere is in August.
Okay, August. You could definitely do that.
Oh, 100%, bro.
You can get under that.
You can
get down to like 185 by then.
You can do it.
That's
a reach, brother.
No.
Hey, if I get to 185, I will dedicate that weight cut to you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, but you gotta put the effort to want to get it.
Oh, I will. A modest 200 is feasible. I can do that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Come on,
That's
bro.
That's like chump change, though.
It's been like a year, right? Do I look fatter in the face, bro? It's okay. No. You can be honest here.
No, you don't.
He's being modest.
I think you look the exact same.
That's crazy.
Honest to say. Yeah. No. Honestly.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So we're going to get back in the gym. I'm going to feel good, feel great, lose some weight, and, strive to just feel better about myself, bro. So it's about that time.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Transformation Kev coming to you live. So as you see these episodes come out, maybe take notice on if my face is getting skinnier or not. But we are here today for episode 136 of the Middleman Podcast featuring my man, my boy, coming back. Expose Toxicc. Welcome to the show.
Part two. Thanks for having me on again, bro.
Part two, most definitely, bro. Like, we had our first conversation. It was a great conversation. It was episode 105. If you haven't seen it, lyrics, turning emotions into lyrics was the quote of the pod. And we did that. You are traveling from where again? Remind the people where you're traveling from. York, Pennsylvania. That is about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour ride.
Yeah.
Give or take. And you had reached out to me about getting back in the show, and we had booked it for what? We booked it
for last weekend. Exactly.
Yeah. And then we rescheduled it. But you hit me up like way in advance, because you knew that you wanted to be here around this time.
Gotta lock in. I wanted to be here on a year spot,
Okay, cool. So I
don't know if anybody's done that here in this pod, but if not, I wanted to be the first or in the top 5 that's come back on a yearly.
You are definitely not the first to do it, but a yearly repeat is something that would be like probably, so we've had repeat guests, right?
Yeah.
By the third time you come to the Middleman Podcast, you become a Middleman Podcast Hall of Famer.
Okay. So how many Hall of Famers are there?
There's not one yet.
All right. I'm coming for you. Excuse me. I'm going to need a belt.
I lied. There is one. And we haven't, Michael, I need to get you film for your Polaroid because we still need to do that. Michael has a Polaroid. We're going to take a film, right? And every time someone becomes a Middleman Podcast Hall of Fame, we're going to take a photo, sign it, and find somewhere to put it on this wall. Okay. So the first Middleman Podcast Hall of Famer, please excuse me, I forgot, is my buddy Mario Oliveri. He's just like my brother. You know, he's one of those guys that if I have like a cancellation and I really need to get a show going, yo, come through. Let's get it done. He's been here for multiple test runs. Like he's kind of like the guy who I like call upon that let's just test some shit out.
Yeah.
And if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, oh well, no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Now I need to listen. Coming for the spot. I'm gonna be the first traveling artist to hit the Hall of Fame.
That is feasible.
I'm gonna come here with a WWE belt that says Middleman Podcast in the middle. It's gonna say exposed toxic.
Like the spinning WWE. Like we'll put the Middleman Podcast logo on it and we'll spin that.
Or maybe I'll even bring the belt and we'll just put the belt somewhere on the wall.
Dude, that'll be legendary. That'll be legendary. You know what else is very legendary and really cool? I don't know if you noticed. I'm sure you probably listened or saw episode 105, correct? Yeah. In that episode, behind you is that sign.
Yep, my name is still there.
Your name is still there, but there was like
a little sticker right here.
There was like, yeah, exactly. There was like nothing on this thing. Like there was like not a lot of people on there.
Yeah, you know? I think I was the third person to sign it at the time.
Yeah, I believe so. Or more than likely, maybe the fifth.
Yeah, it was somewhere on there. It was somewhere in the top in the top 5 on the board.
Where's your signature up there? Do you know?
Top right.
Top right. Yeah, right in the top right. Right there it is. So to me, that is really cool to see.
Yeah.
You know, to see all the names, you know, because I'm like, all right, episode 105 to 136. At that moment, I really was like, damn, did I not do enough work? Because I'm like, yeah. You don't think so?
Nah, I think you did.
Okay.
I think you did.
I didn't think I did. Just because like the episode numbers and shit like that. Yeah, but then when you really like look at what happened in between.
You drop them every week. You know, there's only so many weeks in a year.
52. You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, plus vlogs in between.
Yeah.
So we also do stuff like that. And then, you know.
And you had, you know, your first ever festival you were running.
Yeah. Yeah. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. Nah, you guys, you and your team out here, y'all making moves.
Thank you, man.
Out here in Scranton for sure, bro.
Is the buzz making its way up to York somehow?
I don't know if it's making its way up to York as a whole, but it's making its way to Exposed Toxic.
All right. I love that. I love that. No, I mean, listen. And
like, I have all y'all added on Facebook. So like, I feel like without even meeting everyone, like, I feel like, you know, me and Steve have been friends on Facebook for a while. I don't even know how that happened. It's probably just like, you know, oh, this person does music. Oh, add them, you know, type of thing. I've never actually met Steve in person, but, you know, we've communicated a lot on social media throughout the year and met you in person. I met Andrew in person. I'm going to see Andrew later today at the 570. Maybe shoot some content for his page.
I love that. Yeah, bro. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You know what's cool is like no one I know addresses him as Andrew.
Really?
But
what do people like?
I just Drew. Yeah, Drew.
I was thinking that no, like weird fact when I was in the shower this morning. I was like, did they call him Andrew or did they call him Drew?
Just call him Drew. We just call him Drew, bro.
I was literally thinking that. I was like, because if I'm correct, I remember Kevin calling him Drew. Last time I was there. Yeah. I was like, but I don't want to be the one to call him Drew for the first time. So I'm just going to call him by his given name. Andrew.
I get that. Nah, Drew is cool. Shout out Drew, 570 Exotics.
Shout out you, bro.
Also a man for Atmosphere. We are taking over. We are doing monumental things. And we had this very exciting week. I will touch on that maybe later. I don't think we're going to touch on it during and on camera. Maybe I will, depending on how this conversation goes. But enough about me, brother. You traveled all this way. You've had a phenomenal year in life and in music. Okay. And, you know, just basically, man, what's going on and how are you feeling? Because I mean, honestly, I feel as if you seem more enlightened this time around that I'm seeing you. I feel like there's a more developing character in you. I've seen you done vlogs. You've traveled the world or you traveled the nation a little bit. You've gone to different areas such as Colorado, Nashville, had experiences like that. So, you know, talk to me about life. How has life been for you, man? Since the last time we spoke, we've been you're engaged now. Like, come on, man. What's going on?
Life is great. I can genuinely say, like, I feel like I have more to lose now. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, I didn't really, you know, I was just kind of going with the flow. I don't want to say any like depressing stuff because I wasn't necessarily feeling that way, but I was, you know, any terrible day could have made me feel that way because I was like, I don't have much to lose, you know, I don't got much going for me. But I feel like in the last year and a half, 2 years, that's definitely changed for me. to the point now where like, I kind of fear like traveling more because I'm like, I'm out of control of my own life and I don't want that to come to an end. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird. Like when I traveled to Colorado,
yeah,
like I already have this fear of airplanes, but like something about being in an airplane and not having control of my destiny. It's like I don't like that. But this time around, coming to Colorado back in December, I felt more strong about that, and I had like a conversation with my buddy Rez, who, is a good friend of mine, and he was like, "I feel like you feel this way because you have more to lose now," and so that's where I'm at now. So my life since last time, part one, it's definitely gotten better. Kind of like how you said though, bro, is like, yeah, I feel like I haven't done enough. Even though like maybe I have done so much, but I feel like I didn't do much. You know what I mean? But maybe it's because like maybe we feel that way because we're living in it. You know what I mean? So to somebody else, they're like, damn, they're killing it. They're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing big things. Like I view your year after we had our first podcast as that, like you're doing big things, and maybe vice versa. But to us, at least to me, I don't feel that way. I'm like, I don't think I did enough.
Well, you mentioned you felt like you had a lot more to lose. Could you elaborate on some of the things in particular that you like have obtained now that that you didn't have in the past? Because you said about a year, 2 years ago, now things start coming your way, and it's like, well, fuck, what's going on here?
For sure. So, music has always been a thing, and my music goal is always continuing to grow. But within, the last year, last year at this point, I'll touch base that I had plans to ask my girlfriend at the time to marry me. Last time I was here, that was just a plan that I had in my head. I executed that in October, and
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That is monumental.
Yes, thank you. And
love is in the air.
Me and her have been together for 9 years this year, and taking the next step in our relationship, it was different for me.
Mhm.
It was like now, like, not that we haven't always been big parts in each other's lives,
Mhm.
but now it's like I'm striving to not only be the best version of Exposed Toxic, but I want to be the best husband and the best father that I can be. And those are the things. That's what I mean by like I have more to lose, because I didn't grow up in a great family,
Mhm.
and I could have been raised definitely a lot better. But now, how do I change that? I have to be the example. Do you know what I mean? And I look forward to that. Like I let her know all the time that I look forward to being your husband. I look forward to being a father to your children one day, because I want to make sure that I'm the best version. Like how we spoke about on off camera before this, I like being challenged. You know what I mean? So like it's a challenge for me, and I love that. I look forward to it. Not that I'm rushing it, because I definitely don't want to rush it. I want it to just happen as it's supposed to happen in my life. But that's kind of where I mean by like I have more to lose.
What type of feeling does like a good challenge bring to you when you are experiencing it and when you accomplish it?
Okay, so a good challenge to me.
Give me an example of a challenge that you experienced throughout this year since the last time we spoke.
Okay, so this year I did a challenge in March, where I was gonna post a YouTube video every single day.
Correct. Yep.
And the reason I chose March is because my birthday is in March. And the reason behind that initially is because I just wanted to prove to myself that I can get back to that everyday content. Because people can post content, but can people stay consistent on it?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And
It's the hardest thing ever.
yeah. And I was like, I could do this on TikTok, but I've already done this on TikTok for like 7 months straight, but then got burnt out. But I already did it for 7 months. So 1 month is going to be nothing. I was like, what I've never done, but I've always wanted to do is I wanted to take YouTube serious. And I wanted to see what it would be like to come up with YouTube videos on spot, day of, edit it, shoot it, and release it, and see how hard it is. And I did it. I stayed locked in. And it's funny because my friends before, they were like, you should just make a month's worth of content and just drop it and take the month off. And I was like, nah. That's not a challenge then, because I'm already one step ahead,
Yeah.
And not that it's bad to have one step ahead, because I did have a few videos that were like scheduled, but like for the most part, I was filming it spot on, editing it, and dropping it the day of. And that's when it got to a point where I was just like, I don't care what this one's titled. I don't care what this one is about. We're just doing it. You know what I mean? And I had a minimum where I was like, it has to be at least 3 to 5 minutes long or longer, because then like why do I want to click on a video that's like a minute long unless it's like a song?
Yeah, I
You
get
know what I
it.
mean? So
Like a little reel or something like that.
yeah. And leading up to that, bro, like the idea, to answer your question, the idea of the challenge was like, it was like ambitious. I was like, I love feeling like a new inspiration for ambition. You know what I mean? Like that's just who I am embedded. Um, and then once I was in the challenge, there were days where I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm not somebody who gives up. So I went and I went and did it. You know what I mean? Even if I didn't want to do it. But then, you know, once I did it, it was that ambition feeling again. I was like, I did it again. I did it.
Yeah. So like, you know, you were saying that there were some of these days that you didn't want to do it, right?
Facts.
So how did you overcome that little bit of like grogginess in the morning to do the video? And what was one of the worst days that you've had where it was just like, damn, like I have to do this regardless of how I feel right now?
Mm-hmm. So to answer your second question, it was after I worked a 12-hour shift at my day job, and I was on like a 3-day stretch of working 12s. And
Ouch.
I was like, I don't have a video I posted today, and the day's almost over. And at the time I got off, it was 8 p.m. So I was like, I don't have a video for today. The day's almost over. I have to go to bed because I need to be up at the 5 a.m. the next day. So I was like, I'll just skip a day and it'll be okay. But then when I got home, it was 8:30. I was like, no, I'm not skipping a day. I didn't get to bed till like 11 or 12.
Oof.
But I was like, I'm not skipping a day. The reason why I couldn't is because I'm a big believer. I've branded it in my head per se that like if I can't take what I say serious, how can somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be a man of my word, and I want to be somebody who can be reliable to other people
Mhm.
because I'm a business at the end of the day, and people like reliable businesses. So if I'm a business, then I need to stand on my word for myself so that other people know that, oh yeah, if he says he's going to do this for me, then he will.
Yeah, follow through, always staying driven to do it no matter
Exactly.
what.
100%.
So there's a plethora of videos within that March run that you did there. A large amount of them were, you know, creating beats,
Yep.
things like that. So there were probably about like 3 to 4 different style videos that you were putting out, whether it was creating beats, listening to your unreleased features, listening to your unreleased tracks, reminiscing on some of the tracks that you already have out and elaborating on them, you know, like lyric for lyric, as well as vlogs in between. So out of all of those forms of content, which were your favorite to shoot and why?
So the beat ones were those days where I didn't want to film. And obviously you can see there's a lot of them because
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I wanted to film every day. I
Mhm.
didn't, but I just wanted to get the month out.
Gotcha.
So not that I didn't enjoy those because I don't take myself as a producer. You know what I mean? Like my friends and everything, they say, oh, you know, you can make beats, you can make beats. It's not my thing though. I leave that to the real producers.
Fair enough. Fair
But I
enough.
have fun with it. You know, it's a different aspect of music. When it comes to the vlogs, it's a little bit more natural because I just, you know, hold a camera and just go on my day. I do enjoy editing vlogs. I would say that. That's probably my
They're fun.
favorite. So yeah, it's probably vlogs. Going back and like reviewing my old songs, that's just like comedy to me.
Yeah.
It's just fun. And you know, it's like a realization of how far I've come musically, you know?
Hearing all your old tracks, you know,
100%.
seeing some of the things that didn't make it out though,
Yeah,
regardless.
no,
you know?
none of those songs, anything I played on those YouTube videos, none of them ever saw the light of day. They're just songs that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, did you ever get a reaction from someone saying, "Hey, man, could you release that?"
Not from those videos, but from people that's heard them before I made those videos.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what are you doing? You just holding them?
Nah, I just don't. They're never gonna see the light of day.
And why is that?
I'm just very picky about my artistry.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And I have this distinct sound. And when I'm going into my sounds, I like to stick to that sound and
Fair
like
enough.
master it. You know what I mean? And the sound I'm in right now, I feel like is a reflection of the sound that I was in last year. And I feel like where I'm at right now is where I need to be.
Okay.
Because like everything has changed musically in just the last 4 months because of the songs I'm making now.
Yeah. Well, the songs that you're making now that I am assuming that you're alluding to are a lot of the singles that are most recently dropped, correct?
Yes.
And to me, the outside looking in, you know, it's very acoustic vibe, heavy on the acoustic. And I do think that you do shine well in that lane. And I believe your one homie, Seth 07.
Correct? 07 Syph.
Yeah, 07 Syph. Sorry, my apologies.
Nah, you're good.
07 Syph, you know, you had mentioned in the one video that he had heard that song, the sound. What song was it?
Betrayal.
It was Betrayal.
It was Betrayal. And he told me something along the lines of like, I had previewed it to my group chat that I was like, I have my fans in and stuff. And which I think you're a part of.
I am, yes.
I had featured it and he had heard it and he was like, you need to focus on this sound more. And at the time, Betrayal was a song I did plan to release this year. I had recorded it last year though, like right before I left for Colorado in December. And I had listened to it the whole flight there. And I was like, nah, this song is different. And then so I previewed it. He said that. And then I was like, okay, I agree with what he's saying. Let me focus on it. Let me try to see what I create. And then that's when I pulled my guitar out and I spent like an entire like morning trying to play. And I came up with the, the chords for The Innocent. And then I recorded those chords and then I just started humming and then turned the humming into lyrics. And then I created The Innocent. And then when I created The Innocent and I previewed that, I had one of my fiance's best friends like come up to me and she was like, Zach, you know, not that I don't like your other songs. She's like, but this is something I was not expecting you to make. And this sounds like absolutely like crazy. She's like, I love this. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to continue to make this sound.
What do you think they love about that sound?
I think it's because it's I'm glad we're going into this because I was recording yesterday.
Okay.
And I was thinking like I started to feel this emotion that I'm about to touch on. And I was thinking I really want to talk about this with Kevin on the podcast. I think it's just me being not that my music wasn't vulnerable before and me being honest, but I feel like it's me like diving deeper into my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I feel like it's me like really painting stories and painting like my real emotions and how I react to something to the point where like when I'm recording, like I start to get emotional. You know what I mean? Like yesterday I was recording and like I feel like you know what it feels like when you're like starting like to do something that makes you emotional, but like you're like holding tears back. That's where I was.
Yep, where your voice is a little.
No,
I got it.
That's exactly where I'm at now. When
that's
a
beautiful thing.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like damn, this means more to me now, and it's just crazy to me because so many people that I never thought would listen to my music, like I get sent videos of like them just listening to my music without me even knowing.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a lot of fun, man. And when people give you like compliments on songs and tracks that you never expected, like one of the songs that I really did like off of Misery Loves Company is Make Myself Proud.
Yeah.
Make Myself Proud.
There's a crazy song.
And I think you like featured it on something. You featured it on something. And I was like, yo, bro, this song right here, it's in my playlist. Like, I love this shit. Like I'll be in the car and having a great time listening to that song. And it's one of those songs that is very relatable to people. But back to the newest sound that you got going on, right? Do you feel like back then, your previous tracks, you were only scratching the surface on the emotions that you are trying to portray to the crowd, and now you're diving even deeper into these emotions? And is it because of the track, the sound? Because an acoustic vibe, we had Tay Baby, wow, here the other day, and she has acoustic music as well, and it's very emotionally driven. And I feel like when you have acoustics, it invites the emotions out. Okay, so is that kind of how you would elaborate it? It's just like a deeper dive into your emotions now?
So I would say what you said is partially correct, but it's kind of flopped.
Okay.
In the past.
Cool. Very interesting.
With Misery Loves Company, I was like, telling my story from like how I saw it.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In these recent releases, I'm still telling my story, but I'm living through other people's experiences as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, You Never Cared, which is my recent song I dropped in March. I've been through a breakup before, a crazy breakup, and I've obviously felt the way that song makes somebody feel, right? But and everything I said in it is my perspective. Sorry. And but I wrote that song because somebody I work with was going through a devastating breakup, and I was giving him advice on it throughout the entire time that I was working with him. And then it just made me go home and be like, I don't know what to write about, but let me write about this guy's perspective and maybe how he will feel You know what I mean? And then somehow in the writing process, it turned into how I also felt, years ago in that situation.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like, it's kind of flopped of what you said is like, I'm writing in my perspective, but also other people's perspectives and more of like what the crowd would want to hear. And since then, like, I've got accepted to blogs, like playlists, music companies, like brands. They're noticing me. Like for the first time, I broke 10,000 monthly listeners. I've been so close years prior, and I finally hit it this year. And I've been over it ever since I hit it.
You still have it.
I still have it.
Like 11K right now.
I think it's like 11 or 12, something like that.
Yeah. Either way, numbers. They don't lie, people. They don't lie. No, that's monumental for you, bro. That's phenomenal that you're finding a new lane, a new sound, a new look, a new representation of Exposed Toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, remember last time we were speaking on elaborating on your name and, what I think you portray and stuff like that. And now it's like, you're still exposing a bit of Toxic, but at the same token, it's like, it's about love. You're talking about love more. You're talking about things that Toxic, like it's intertwined, love has toxic things in it. And you're more so highlighting the love side of it in my eyes more now than the toxicity of what you were doing in the past, which is solid. It's really cool. It's really cool.
By the time this podcast will come out, assuming, it's a couple weeks from now, I would have a song out that's dedicated to my father. And that song is more deep. It's not really, it's like relationship between me and father. You know what I mean? It's stuff I've never touched base on. So I think, and it's not acoustic. It's like more of like a ballad with piano, and it's me playing the piano. And
really?
I feel like it's gonna hit different.
Is that the song that brought a lot of emotion to you as you were recording it?
Yes, I actually
can only imagine.
Broke down crying writing that one because it's things I've never talked about with myself. You know what I'm saying? Things I never reflected on myself. So yeah, I mean, this will be the first time anybody's hearing the backstory of the song because by now the song will be out.
Let's hear it, please. Yeah. I really want to hear the backstory to this because, drop the name of the title of the song as well, so then people can just correlate and understand what's going on here. Especially giving that it's probably going to be perfect timing. And this is amazing. So please, man, share the gem. Tell the people what they need to hear while they're listening to this song because it does sound like it's one that is very meaningful for you.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to feel like I don't want people or my father to feel like I'm bashing him, even though like I definitely could do that, but I don't respectfully as a man I don't want to do that. But I grew up in a home where I wasn't treated the best that I could be treated, and there's a lot of trauma mentally and physically there, and a lot of things I wish that I didn't have to experience or remember. And that song kind of reflects that. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like my version of Mockingbird.
Yeah. I was thinking that low key, high key.
That's literally what it is. My version of Mockingbird, and the song is titled "Lies You Told."
Lies You Told. Okay. Yeah. All right. So guys, check it out. Be on the lookout for it. Lies You Told. It's definitely something that is close, personal to you. Writing it, I'm sure it was over emotional.
Yeah. The funny thing is like when I first started out, I started out writing it. I wrote like the first verse writing it. I think the song has 3 verses. By the end of the first verse, the chorus and everything after, I didn't have to write. It just came.
Just came right out. Really?
Yeah. It was like things I would been like blocking myself from like feeling. And after that, it was just flowing.
And then, so you were playing the piano too.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you're developing your artistry skills as a musician, songwriter, and performer, performing that song.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are you ever going to perform that one?
Probably. I can't say that I won't. I probably definitely will because I have a feeling it's going to be a fan favorite.
Okay.
Because it's usually those type of songs that people, relate to the most because, they have their own stories and things they don't want to talk about. So they'll take my vision of my father and mix it with maybe their mother, their grandmother, whoever it is,
And see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Lies You Told. Just keep an eye out for that. One of my friends. Real quick, I just wanted to ask you this question before we move on from the topic. You were mentioning that you wrote that other song in reference to a coworker's heartbreak. Does that coworker did he ever find out that track was about his situation?
I told him about it. And, he messages me, countless times. And lets me know that like, the song means a lot and definitely is how he's feeling and so forth.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And have you done that to, are there any other tracks that you know of offhand right now that you've done that same
Yeah.
thing to?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing a few?
I forget what the song's name is because I wrote it 2 years ago. I think it's called "I Wrote You a Letter"
Okay.
or something like that. I don't remember, but it's another acoustic song, and I wrote it about my fiance's brother who was going through a heartbreak at the time, and they had like moved to different states, and I never told him that. So if he's watching this, he'll be the first to find out.
Now you know. Now you
I
know.
never told him that. I told my fiance that I did that, and she thought it was cool and whatnot. But as an artist, like most artists are married. You think Rihanna's gonna make a heartbreak song when she's with ASAP and has 2 babies? Like, no, she got that inspiration from past life
Someone
or
else, yeah.
from someone else. That's just part of being an artist.
Mhm.
So, and I find that my favorite songs become somebody else's story. But it's the artist's way of like taking that experience of somebody else and mix it with your experience and tell your truth. You know what I'm saying? Tell what you were feeling during it and really paint a picture. Another thing, like, I feel like my songwriting has gotten better because I'm no longer saying, like, for just an example, hypothetically, I'm no longer in a song saying I'm at a party popping bottles. Like, say like lights low, people dancing. I feel the vibe in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
Like,
painting a picture. You're telling
paint the
a
picture,
story.
paint like the actual image, and then if somebody hears those details, they're like, oh, he's at a party. You know what I'm saying? Or like people can view it and be like, oh, he's at church. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
however they want to perceive it. But
Well, speaking of church, let's talk about Talking to God.
okay.
Okay, Talking to God. That's one of the songs that was heavily on repeat
Yeah.
on your social media. I'm guessing the crowd was a crowd favorite.
100%. Yeah. People love that one. And it's so funny because I remember making that song. I made it in 2023. And when I first made it, it was one of those songs that sat on my laptop. And it sat there for a good 5-6 months.
2023. Okay.
2023.
So
I
this
made
was
it.
even before our first interaction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like way before I even knew about the Middleman podcast.
Yeah.
Like I made this in like February of 2023. And I made it because, it was one of those mornings where I woke up, my music wasn't blown up yet. I was inside my head. I'm sure, we've all been there with the goals that we have, right? And I was like, man, like something's just got to give. And, like I was like, at the time I was blaming God and I was like, maybe I just don't believe in you enough, blah, blah, blah. So then I just went into the studio and I had got emailed that beat. And the way I was feeling is what you hear. I didn't change anything. I didn't go back and change anything. Like that's the exact song, the way it sounds and everything that I made in February 2023. When I went back and made it, or not made it, when I went back to go listen to it again was right around the time I made the song "Make You Myself Proud," and I was like, okay, these two songs are kind of similar, just different aspects.
They go really well together.
Yeah, and I was like, just talking to God once fire. So then I had went onto a show and I had performed Talking to God for the first time anybody ever hearing it. And I started tearing up singing it. And
Really?
yep. And
Wow.
I was, because I was feeling that way.
Yeah.
And then that's when I came to realize like, this song is powerful because I never had a song do that to me. I was like, this song is powerful. I was like, I need to release this one. So then I saved it for something I view as my debut album. You know what I'm saying? Like I view, Misery Loves Company as like my first real official album, which is why I made it like 17 songs.
It's a very long album. That's really cool, man. And Talking to God, let me ask you this. Your relationship with God, ever since, so you recorded the track, you said that you were recording the track because you felt like you weren't where you needed to be. You were kind of putting the blame on something else, other than yourself, which we've all probably done that, like, why God, why me, why is this happening? And then, through that experience, you came to that, you created that song and then you perform it. You feel that it's really emotional. Your relationship, this is a real personal question. Your relationship with God prior to making the song and to where you are now, has that song elevated your relationship, left it the same, or, just kind of?
I definitely would say it elevated it. Growing up the life that I had, it was very hard to believe there was a God. But now, experiencing the things and where I'm at now, I understand that all that in the past had to happen to get to where I am now, to be who I am now, to be a man of my word, to be as driven as I am. all that stuff in my past needed to be the way it was, and I would never change it, even though I did endeavor on some things that, are detrimental to somebody's life.
Mhm.
But I would do it all over again if it meant that I was who I am today or someone better.
Real interesting, bro. Real interesting. I like that because in your artistry, you're going through a spiritual journey as well. And if that song brought you closer to believing, that's really cool to hear. And
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of that. Just
For
you
sure.
know. And then you had mentioned "Make Myself Proud."
Mm.
Yeah, that one is a lot
That
of
song,
fun.
that one has a very interesting story too, bro.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I made that song. I remember the date, and there's a reason for it. I made that song on Halloween night of 2024. Okay. Well, no, 2023. My apologies. 2023. I made it that day because I had just got fired from my job. And it was the first time that I had been fired from a job. And it was a job that I told myself, this is my last job before my music is my full time. You know what I mean? I had a lot of plans with that job of how I was going to save and invest money. And at the time when I got fired, I had, spent a lot of money on investments and, I kind of cut short or broke even. So I was like low on cash.
Yeah.
So when I got fired, it was like,
why'd you get fired?
I got fired over some like state stuff. Like it
Okay.
was like, cause I worked as a caregiver. So
Got
it
it.
was like something to do with like the medications and
Mhm.
something. I didn't give a wrong medication. I just didn't count one properly.
Gotcha.
And this state of Pennsylvania looks at that as like, oh, that's
Termination.
yeah, exactly. Which is stupid because I tried to defend myself. It didn't work, but fuck that job.
Neither here nor there. Okay. I was curious.
Yeah, no, that's
my
cool.
fault.
No, you're good. You're good. It's no big deal. And I remember being really depressed, and that's when I told myself. I had called one of my best friends, and I told him, I said, yo, I'm about to lock in on this music deeper than I ever had, bro. Deeper than 2021, 2020, all that. I'm about to lock in. I'm about to make this next year crazy, which was last year, right?
Mhm.
And he was like, all right, bet. So I went home after dealing with the emotions of being fired. I remember it was fucking 1 a.m. and I was dead tired.
Well, Halloween
But
night.
my brain and the way that I've wired it is like, Zach, you're awake right now. You could be doing shit, but what are you going to choose? You're going to choose to go to sleep. That's what everybody else in the world is doing. Are you going to sleep or are you going to do something first and then go to sleep?
Mhm.
So I wired myself as like, okay, I got to go make a song and then I'll go to sleep. So
You're
not
crazy.
not planning on making Make Myself Proud, but I didn't write nothing. I just, whatever you hear is how I was feeling.
Did you have like, because I know for a while there you were like creating a new song every day, and when we were talking about it, you were like, yeah, I kind of just made a beat and then I get a hook and then I'd leave it like that. Was that one of those examples where you might have had the hook, or
I had nothing.
All from scratch?
Nothing. I just opened my email. I didn't even make a beat because it was 1 a.m. I was like, let me get somebody else's beat. So I opened my email to all the producers that, flood other artists' emails. I found that beat. I liked that one the most. I was like, this is the one. I didn't have any direction of where I was going with it. I just hit record. I just closed my eyes, thought about how I felt. And that's exactly what you hear.
I like that.
I didn't go back and be like, let me change this. Let me say that. No, because here's the thing. I wasn't trying to make a song to release. I was just trying to vent. You know what I'm saying? And it just turned out that I vented and it was an actual like structured song.
It's a really good song.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
So solid.
I agree. I think it's like a big percent of people's favorite song on that album. And
Okay.
I can't blame them.
No,
I can't.
I mean, and even like, all right, so the song itself, you got to check it out. It's on Misery Loves Company, called why am I drawing a blank on a song right now? What an asshole.
Make Myself
Proud. Wow. Yeah, I'm staring at you. I don't know why that happened, but Make Myself Proud. At the end of the song, the last few words that you hear are, I'm gonna make myself proud.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
Yep.
Song's over.
Yep.
Song's over.
Now, I will say that I had went back and changed that. I just made it cut.
Okay.
Because the beat still did continue. Like it was just going to drag out and fade out. But I was like, I want this to hit. I was like, I want people to feel this. And I was like, let me think about times I felt, this way about a song. And I was like, if the beat just cut and it was just make myself proud, and that's it. And then just goes to the next song.
Exclamation point.
Yeah. And I was like, I feel like that's going to make people feel it more and want to replay it. And not to mention, I think it's only like a minute, 20-something second song.
Yeah. It's one of those songs that you're going to press replay because you want to hear it again. You're like, damn, I wish there was another fucking verse. Yeah. But I really think the artistry, the way you did that, the story behind it's really interesting. I didn't know that. You didn't know that. Now you know that. And it's really dope, bro. I'm proud of that song. song. I'm proud of the entire album. 17 songs. One of my personal favorites off of that we haven't spoken about is What If.
Okay.
What If has to be, and I think it's just the melody in the song. It's a really good melody, and I'd say it's like you were hitting your notes where they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoyed the tone, the structure of that entire song. What If? So that is my personal, maybe second personal favorite, because I think Make Myself Proud is still number one.
Yeah.
What is your personal favorite off that album there?
I have two that tie.
Okay.
First one, you could probably guess it. It's Talking to God.
Okay. Yeah. Talking to God.
The second one is Couldn't Be Friends.
Couldn't Be Friends. Okay. Yeah. I
it's the
don't
last
have
song
it in
on
my
the
head
album.
right now. It's the
It's
last
the
song
one right
okay.
after Make Myself Proud.
Okay. So
and it's basically a song reflecting on myself. It's the song goes like, Dear Zach, let me explain. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just me talking to myself and trying to see how maybe other people can perceive me or like see me in a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's me saying like, here's that, like, here I am, Zach, talking to yourself, and here's the things I don't like about you that I think other people don't like about you.
Couldn't Be Friends.
Yeah, couldn't be friends.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the last song on the album.
And why'd you choose to end with that song?
Because I felt like it needed to be on the album. See, I'm very like strategic about my projects because I don't know if we got to talk about this, but my very first album was Am I All Right? So it's kind of like me being buried. You know what I'm saying? Misery Loves Company is supposed to be me coming out brand new out of that grave.
Album cover.
Yes, the album cover.
Album
right?
cover. Makes sense. Okay.
That was supposed to be me coming out of the grave. So I made that album more bright, not as dark of songs.
Very bright.
But I made sure that it was telling my story. And the reason I named it Misery Loves Company is because I knew the project was going to change and shift the way people view me as an artist. And people that are miserable, they love company. So of course, somebody's going to try to shoot me down and say, well, you're not going to make it because you're miserable. You're trying to make me miserable. You know what I'm saying? That's just one aspect. But then it's also of like, sometimes I'm miserable and these songs explain that. You know what I'm saying? And I know that you guys also might feel miserable. So that's why you love these songs, but we can both change that. So there's a lot of, stories behind the title. So the reason I made that the last song is because I just felt like it was weird for me to put it in the middle of the album, like I felt like it needed to hit on a last minute note, because I always feel like good albums, the last song is the one that hits you the deepest, and you're like, I just want to play this whole album back. You know what I mean?
When you were making that song, did you know that it was going to be the last one?
When I made this song, so I made about 30 songs for the album,
and only 17 made it on.
And that was one of the 30 I was voting out of. And I had another one that I was voting out of. That one didn't make it. And I was like, nah, Couldn't Be Friends. Has to be. It has to be. And honestly, it wasn't even titled Couldn't Be Friends at first. It was going to be titled Dear Zach. But I changed it and made it say Couldn't Be Friends because I wanted people to believe that I was talking to somebody else. Kind of like, I said, like, how people perceive it.
Yeah.
Because only like the real diehard fans of Exposed Toxic, like the ones that are watching this interview right now, they know my name is Zach. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But just an average listener that just found me for the first time, you don't know I'm Zach.
Nope. Just Exposed Toxic.
Exactly. So you think I'm talking to my brother, cousin, best friend, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So who's just, yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's very cool, man. I like that. So at this time in the show, we're going to tap into Tea Time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Cheers, my good man. Last time, I think you had watermelon, right?
No, I had the half and half.
Half and half. And I have my black and white as I did last time. So Mr. Exposed Toxic, welcome to the new version of Tea Time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea.
Vinny, off camera, cracked that, Johnny.
Shout out, Vinny, being here again for the second time of the Middleman Podcast featuring Exposed Toxic. So, my man, there are questions in this pot. You are aware of how we do this.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and pick it up and pass it over my way, and I will read it aloud. Here we go. I want to get that teapot painted.
You should get like a Middleman logo on it.
I could. So I was going to speak to the artist Sachiko. Shout out Sachiko. And have her do something for me.
Wait, no, it's one.
Yeah, I just folded it multiple times. So here we go. The tea time question of the day is, what's one thing about the future that scares you? This is interesting because I just talked about it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
In terms of what, though?
Anything in general. What scares you in the future, man, other than the most obvious, which is death?
Okay, so then see, mine kind of ties into that, though.
I'm sorry?
Mine kind of ties into.
Okay, so I mean, if that's what it is, then go ahead.
Yeah, because there's not many things. Like, I try to mostly live in the moment and not focus on the future. For me, if I'm just being as deep as possible, and maybe I sound like a simp, so I'm sorry, but I'm sure the ladies will love it. But it's just me being honest.
Aww.
I'm terrified to die, and if there is another life, not be able to find my fiance in that life. Does that make sense?
That shit is deep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Like, that's just my honest. I think about that a lot. I've never told her that, so this is her first time probably hearing that too.
She's crying right now.
I think about that a lot though, and that's God honest. My genuine answer is like, I think about like, if there is a past life or like reincarnation, will I be able to find you again? Because I don't think I want to be with anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I think about that all the time.
That is absolutely beautiful, bro.
I mean, that's serious.
That is such a beautiful
Other than that, like, I can like things that scare me, but the things that scare me, like in like, you know, that are soon also excite me, like buying a house. Like, of course, buying a house scares me because it's a big, you know, dent to my pocket. But then I also have a house, and I can, you know, like equity, and I can do whatever I want.
You can do a lot of things.
Exactly. So, like, does it really scare me, or does it just make me uncomfortable? You know what I mean?
And we have to be uncomfortable in order to grow and move forward.
Exactly. And I love being uncomfortable.
You don't want to be complacent.
I try to do something uncomfortable every day. Honest to God, I do.
Well, you know, you are a big content creator. And, you know, as a matter of fact, before the show even started, I found him outside in the alleyway recording, guys.
This is nothing but facts.
No fucking joke. Okay. There was like, it's raining outside. There was an umbrella on top of his camera stand, some gangster shit.
Yeah. And you said, and you know who you watching. You said the umbrella wasn't going to work.
Last time you were here, you did have a very fancy umbrella too. So I thought that was kind of ironic that that's happening again.
You're right, I did.
And yeah, no, like just being scared out there, like making those types of content, people like looking at you. I was asking Vince, I was like, yo, do people like come up to you guys? It's like, nah, just a lot of eyes. A lot of people would just look at you like you're a weirdo and shit like that, you know? So I get that. I get that entirely. People are like, why are you recording? Because I have to.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like there was a UPS guy, you know, he was driving a truck. He didn't want me to move the camera, but you know, I moved it, and he's like, I was hoping you didn't have to move it. I'm like, I respect you because you're doing your job, and you respect me doing my job.
Yeah,
because there's some people that don't understand. Like, this is my job. Like, I'm not just out here doing this because I want to do it. Like, this is my job. Especially like when there's brands, and like some of the clothing that I wear in those, like some of them are brands.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know if you saw the Power Ranger. I was wearing like a Power Ranger shirt. It's like a red Power Ranger.
I don't think I saw that one, but
it was like back in like January, but that was a brand. You know what I mean? Like I had to post that for a brand. You know, like, did I want, like, I do like the Power Ranger shirt. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't naturally fit my image. You know what I mean? Respect. But I still made it work. I still made it fit, you know?
You're always out there shooting content, man, always creating new ways to, you know, generate listens to your music, get a new following. And that's one of the things that I respected most about you is the amount of content that you put out on a daily basis, you know, so much respect to you with that, especially with clothing as well. You know, it seems like you're days away from getting a clothing deal, you know, from being sponsored with clothing. That, bro. So keep at it. It's something that I love to see from you. What scares me in the future? Right. Back to the question of tea time. We did talk about this the other day, and it's on the podcast, and I mentioned that it was in the pot, and I kind of ruined this question for me. But what scares me the most, bro, in the future is everything working out. I know it sounds weird. I know what you mean. But I'm terrified of everything working out. Okay. I'm terrified of the uncertainty of what my 30s and 40s will look like, given the things that I am embarking now. You know, there's that saying that, you know, you waste your 20s working hard so you could live your 30s, you know, having a great time. But there's also people who are out there in their 20s who are just partying. I could be doing that. You know, I can simply just be partying, doing all that. And then by 30, I'm still playing catch up. So I'm hoping that right now at the age of 27, that everything is going to continue to work out as it is. And by the age of 30, I am right where I need to be. But that terrifies me because I don't know what the hell that's going to be. Okay. So that's what scares me in the future, is that everything working out. everything working out. I don't want to lose myself, right? So I want to remain grounded. I was having a conversation with Mr. Methodonics the other day that if it all works out, right, I would still like to maintain my lifestyle and work, okay? Like do part-time HVAC shit, okay? Because to me, that keeps me grounded. That keeps me in the realm of a blue-collar, hardworking man. And this creative side of me is what I do after that, you know? So
yeah,
that's what I'm terrified of. Is that weird? Is that
no. I fully grasped and understood everything you were saying. I truly do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's because it's like when it all does work out, am I gonna feel like I did enough?
Yeah.
You know, like, does it feel like I did enough, or does it feel like it all worked out?
It's actively working out really, really good, right?
And there's also, you know, like any aspect of like just waking up every day and like knowing there's a grind. It's like you're waking up every day for something because you don't have it yet and you want it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like a lot of people don't feel that in life. And kind of touched on what you said, like most people spend their 20s partying. When they hit 30, they're working a dead end job. They don't want to work, you know, and then they don't ever have retirement. Especially where we're headed, bro. I think we talked about this last time. I don't think there's gonna be those things. By the I don't think those things are gonna exist when we're older, bro. Like at this rate,
fucked right now.
Yeah, at this rate, bro. There ain't. Yeah, man.
I feel bad for my boy Drew.
Yeah, there ain't gonna be no income tax by the time we're old. It's gonna be us paying more tax.
Yeah, man. The guy I was just talking to Drew because his imported snacks.
Yeah,
dude, these tariffs are killing him.
They're
a thing that he's having to maneuver and work out in shop. And I didn't even think about it. I'm like, holy shit, you're right. I'm like,
I thought about that. No bullshit. When I hit him up the other day, I said, I'm in the area. We can shoot some content. I want to stop, get some snacks, and I'd be down to shoot, a video or two for your page. Cause I know we wanted to do that last time, but we didn't get to, so we can do it. I'm down. And then I started to think, I'm like, damn, his prices had to go up like crazy, which I'm cool with. But I was like, his prices had to go up and crazy because, these tariffs are crazy. I'm like, and all that stuff is imported out of country.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. So the poor guy, he's working hard. 25.
Don't let it knock you down though, bro.
I was saying, I was telling someone the other day, I told my mom this the other day. I think in 2 years, I could hopefully be part-time in my line of work. 2 years is generous. 2 years is generous. But I do think that shit is coming, and it's coming sooner rather than later. And it's all due to the podcast, right? The podcast may not be bringing me any income, right? But the things that I do because of the podcast,
you get like atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, you guys are really doing your thing, bro. Like,
thanks, bro.
Dead serious.
We'll talk about atmosphere a little bit more off camera. But that's tea time, guys. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Cheers. Toxic. Let's go ahead and continue the rest of this conversation here. I want to talk about your the Nashville trip, because that trip looked like a lot of fun. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one guy in that video who
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's my aunt's father.
Okay. Well, he definitely loves
the Hawk
too. Yo, 2 times.
Everybody loves that video because of him. Telling you, he doesn't know that, but it's funny. Like, I've had so many people be like, "Oh man, that guy's he's bugging. He's hilarious." Whole time, random women, random everything, because he was drunk most of the time, because we were partying most of the time. He just go up to a random girl and be like, because I don't think he fully grasped what it like. He knows what it meant, but I don't think he knows what it meant to our generation. You know what I mean? Like, he knew, it meant the deed, but I don't think he knew how much like detail it really was. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was hilarious. But sometimes it did get a little too much when like we're out in public, because, how is somebody, a random girl? Yeah. How are they going to take that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
OD.
And sometimes, some women might look at that as like assault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Harassment. Yeah, exactly.
So like,
watch out, Unc.
Yeah.
Watch out, Unc. So the music capital of the world, right? That's Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
What was your experience there? What were you doing there? Were you just taking a trip? Were you trying to, were you performing at all there? What was going on?
Wasn't performing. I was there in 2022 for a wedding. That was my first time there. Loved it. The second time around, which was last July, I believe, me and my fiance were there with plans of looking to buy a home.
Okay.
Since then, we have discovered that is not a place we are interested in buying a home at. It's more of a place where I would like to visit, not live. There's reasons behind that makes sense, but I don't want to offend any Nashville people. But
Nashvillians, right?
Yeah, whatever we want to call them. Nash villagers. I don't know. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what the core reason of the trip was.
Okay.
Was to just, look at towns around Nashville, downtown Nashville, and see if we could be interested in living our lives there and raising a family. I won't say the reasons why, but I will just say the fact that I'm the one that made the grand decision. As much as I wanted to in 2022, I no longer want to. I decided that life of living there is for exposed Toxicc, but it is not a place where Zach wants to raise his children.
Respect. I like how you put that, man.
And I have to not sacrifice, but I have to find a balance. You know what I mean? If I ever want to be happy, I need to also, treat Zach with respect. You know what I mean? Because how will Zach ever be happy if I'm only ever focused on my artist side? You know what I mean?
And so you went to Colorado. Was that similar premises as to why you visited Colorado?
No, Colorado. My fiance's brother, one of her brothers, he lives in downtown Denver. Cool. So we were visiting him. He's a big hiker and snowboarder. So
what a guy!
Yeah,
respect.
Denver is his place of residence.
It's one of the best spots out there, man. Colorado. Yeah. I'm a big fan. So performing wise, do we have anything up and coming this year?
I've been trying to get a show going in Millersville, which is inside of Lancaster.
As in you're hosting it? You're putting it together?
Yes, I'm trying to. I'm trying to not do something similar to Atmosphere, but I guess kind of similar. I just more or less want to host a show, and I want to bring the artist that I feel like needs the spotlight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want just somebody who, was like, oh, I make music, let me perform. No, I want to give the people that I fuck with the spotlight. People that I feel like people are sleeping on. Now I want to give the spotlight. So that's kind of the goal. Now, as far as venues, they're a little flaky in my area, so they're hard to get, which I'm sure you've been down that road trying to find like a solid venue and people just not getting back to you. They'll get giving you false hope, or they'll give you a crazy outlandish price that's not worth the property.
There you go.
It's like, what do you have to offer me for, $3,000 a night? Like it's just a building. Like for all that, I could go buy a building, pay a month's rent, and throw a freaking party there every night for $3,000. Like what? So that's the dilemma I'm on right now. Other than that, no. Like I don't have any plans. I'm more focused on like getting my wedding, because my wedding is this year. So I'm just more focused on like getting that stuff figured out and settled. And then next year, I'll probably be buying a house and getting more of my music, like performances and stuff,
Yeah, you're just growing as a person and as an artist.
100%.
So, with these venues and everything like that, trying to put this show together, do you think that there are any roadblocks given to you because of the genre of music that you're in at all or anything like that?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's more like just a vet. Like, I just don't think anybody in my area, like, once again, maybe you feel this way. Like, I just don't feel like people, like, even if you own a venue, I feel like you just don't take anybody serious, or you just don't take yourself serious. You know what I mean? Because it's not like I feel like, maybe the genre, like my genre is not rap anymore. No. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I can't pull rappers. I never once say I'm not gonna pull rappers. I never once say what type of genre show it's gonna be. I let the venue owner figure that out for themselves unless they ask me, right? Which they've never asked me. So I know that's not the case.
Interesting.
I more think it's like, do you have enough PR? Do you have enough clout? But it's like, in the same aspects, it's like, I still have that too. And like, and I say that humbly, you know what I mean? Like, I don't talk about my followers or anything like that publicly unless it's brought up, right?
It's the way it should be.
Honestly. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't see how somebody books somebody who has 30 monthly listeners easily, like back to back to back to back to back to back. And then I give you, I'm like, here, I have so many like listeners. I have over 10,000, here's the percent of how many's in the local area. I can get them all to come out. All this money comes into your pocket. All I want to do is just perform. And somehow, some way that I just get flaked on. It doesn't make sense to me. And I get to myself, I'm like, it's probably just, the typical music business. It's who you know. So I don't beat myself up over it too much, because I'm like, you know what? I'll get to a point where I know these venue owners. And these venue owners will get to a point where they're gonna know me before I even knew them, and they're gonna want me to. They're gonna be begging me to come to their show, and I'm gonna be like, nah, you don't remember back in a year or so, you feel me?
Yeah,
I know
1,000%.
you do because we talked about this
Yeah.
last time. I want to get to that point where I'm like, nah, you blew me off. Like, now it's my turn.
We're experiencing roadblocks.
Yeah,
we are experiencing roadblocks throughout the entire way through atmosphere. And before we started this conversation, I was telling you, I was like, I might say this, I might not say this, I don't know. Okay, so we're kind of here right now, so fuck it, I'm gonna lay it on them.
Yeah,
okay,
expose it. No pun intended.
Atmosphere, right? I was talking about genre. We're hip hop, R&B, rap. Okay, every time we try to run an event, that is always a concern to people, and we tell them that up front, okay, because we want to let them know what type of genre.
People stereotype it.
Exactly.
They think people showing up with shiesties and stuff.
Hell yeah. Right. So, my partners were just on other podcasts, and they were promoting something that we were doing called the Atmosphere Lounge. Just basically, the lounge is where we are. Okay. Clarification: the lounge is where we are. Just so everyone knows, where we're at is where the lounge is. This is a type of event. The venue will possibly stay the same. It could always change, so on and so forth, right? But one of the questions I was asked during that podcast was, how do you feel the support in the hip hop community is? Okay. And it's an unspoken thing here. It's an unspoken rule in the hip hop community. I've dealt with a lot of musical talent, a lot of hip hop artists, R&B artists, and all of them do support each other, right? But it's an unspoken rule. It's not like they are blasting it and saying like, yo, expose your fucking track the other day was fire. You know what I mean? Like they won't post on our story, but they might text me and be like, yo, bro, that track was fire. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
But
okay,
good. Now get to the but.
Right, so
get to the but.
So the support within the hip hop community is strong. You know, it's one of those unspoken rules. We don't talk about it. Like you go to the barbershop, you don't look in a mirror. It's an unspoken rule. It just happens. That's how it is. Okay. So, is the support in the hip hop community strong? Yes, it is. But what I will say is the community does not support the hip hop community, bro. So, with that being said, genre, roadblocks.
That was the perfect way to say that.
We're having problems when we present ourselves to multiple venues in this area, outside this area, whatever the case may be. Whenever we bring up hip hop, R&B, that's what we do. People tend to put a stereotype and they get a little bit scared, a little bit shaky, a little bit in their boots, bro. But you know me as who I am, okay? You know my partners, you know the people that I work with. We're all good people, bro. We are not freaking like doing illegal like shit. Like we're not the stereotype, if you would, okay? So because the community doesn't support the hip hop community, it makes it extremely harder for the hip hop community to shine in this area. And to me, bro, that's one of the things that I want to say is the Middleman Podcast stands with hip hop, R&B, rap. I stand with you guys, and I am with you guys all the way. I think about all the other podcasts out here who interview artists. Most of them are rock bands, rock groups. That's fine. That's cool because that's what's normal and that's what's popping out here, right? No one's doing it like the Middleman with these hip hop R&B artists, you know, rap, all of that, bro. And
the underground.
I stand with you guys, bro. I stand with all my hip hop artists. I stand with all of them. Atmosphere stands with you guys. Hip hop is in Scranton. It is alive. It is well. Community, support us because within the hip hop community, we're strong as shit. And you guys know that. I know that. Everyone knows that. We're just trying to break this stereotype, bro. And I just have to get that off my chest. So.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, bro.
Sorry.
I don't blame you. I could definitely, like, I'm not from around here, but like just coming as an outsider and being in this town, I can definitely see how like there might be like, and I'm just speaking from what I see, there might be like race problems around here or, you know, like stereotypes around here. Like it just seems like a very like,
it's old Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Which is cool.
Very old fashioned. Like it just feels like it feels like a time machine when I come out here. Honest to God. No, it does. Like,
well, you were elaborating on the bricks and the buildings.
Yeah, like yeah, man. Like that's what made me want to come here and shoot content is like, you know, like where I'm from, you know, there is brick buildings, don't get me wrong. Like there is stone buildings, don't get me wrong, but most of the things have been knocked down and like try to be modernized, you know, and you know, have modern restaurants like all around and stuff. And you know, here it's all stone buildings, it's all brick buildings. Like I've I don't think I've seen like one real modernized building around like where I've been so far in this area. You know what I mean? Like here in downtown. Um, but no, it's like feels like I really did enter a mining town. Like truly, I know that's what it is. I know that's what it is, but that's coal. Actually how it feels. Is like, oh man, I'm in, you know, a coal county.
Yeah.
You know?
It really is. They keep the old roots here, bro. And they're a rock city. You know,
I can see that. Cause like I look around and I'm like, it doesn't feel urban in the sense of like the hood or like rap or like hip hop. Like it feels more like, let me open this dude's garage door and we're gonna
we're gonna have a jam.
You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously, bro.
That's how it goes to me. I'm like, oh, you know what? Like I'll rock with it. Like I'm versatile, I can do whatever.
Of
but
course.
Like I can see how it's hard to probably be, you know, a rap or a hip hop artist here in this area. And to be honest with you, like not that I'm anybody important, but I haven't heard of, you know, a lot of artists from Scranton that do hip hop. There's a few like you know, I've heard of Methodonics. I actually heard of Methodonics in 2021. He had a group. I forget what the group's called. Maybe you know it.
I know he had Stardom, but he didn't.
Stardom. That's what it is.
Okay.
Isn't Stardom more a group?
Yeah. Well, Stardom is like his mentorship program, but now it has rebranded. It's actually called Velocity now.
Okay. Was Stardom at one point like a collective of artists that like made music together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard of Stardom. Okay. I've heard of Stardom then before I've heard of actual Methodonics. And the reason I heard of Stardom is because I was doing a show in 2021 and Stardom was to come and be a part of that show, or members of Stardom were supposed to come and be a part of that show in York. And I was the artist that volunteered to make the flyer. So like I had to make the flyer and I'm pretty sure Methodonics was on that flyer. And last year when I learned who Methodonics was for Methodonics himself, I was like, oh, that's the dude that was on the cover art.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle. How about that? That's pretty badass.
And like I said, like Steez and me have been friends on Facebook and social media since probably like 2020, maybe in 2019. And I think, you know, that was just being mutual friends with other people on Facebook. And we just, you know, added each other because we're like, oh, you know, engineer, producer, artist.
Yep.
No, but we had never actually spoke. We were just always friends on Facebook, saw each other's statuses, but we had never spoken until like last year when I was on here.
And I can link you with those guys, man. Yeah. Every one of those
guys.
It's
funny because like I feel like I'm linked with all of them. Like I've never actually spoke to Methodonics, but like we're friends on Facebook. We're friends on social media. We never actually like exchanged DMs or anything like that. But like it's so funny because like I'm not here in Scranton, but I feel like I'm a part of the Scranton.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if I was to move here, I could easily just like wean my way in and be a part of it.
Why do you feel that way? Can I ask you that?
I don't know. I think that like your team like has a very like family oriented feeling. If I'm just being honest with you.
Appreciate that, bro.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of groups, and I'm sure, you know, running a music festival, you know exactly what I'm about to say. A lot of groups, they have that ego. They're like, no, you know, my group is them, we him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not like that, because that when you look at it like that, y'all are just a bunch of clowns. If I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's not gonna get you far. This is what gets you far. Look at the things y'all are doing. Hasn't even been a year yet, bro.
No.
Look what you're doing, because the foundation that y'all have, the trust that y'all have within each other. I'm sure, you know, you guys treat each other like brothers. So I'm sure you bicker. I'm sure you've gotten into arguments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like y'all are like a family. You do stuff outside of music too. Like I see y'all be posting each other on the stories, like out to dinner or whatnot. You know, like it's a very brotherhood style, but also a team of people that have goals. And that's how you're gonna become successful. It's inevitable.
Anyone within that hip hop community, you know, they're more than welcome to come join us for a dinner or something. Like we do something we hosted. It's called Atmosphere Dinners.
Yeah. See, now that's dope. That's dope, bro.
And I've been vlogging them whenever we do them, and I will probably put it together at the end of the year after we complete the festival. Yeah. Anything that we've done, like trying to, when it's not intensive planning and we're just having fun as homies and shit, I record that, and it's a lot of fun to.
And I watched the first vlog for your show last year. I watched. I don't know if I finished it, but I watched the most part, and I loved it. I love to see the turnout. I love just, you know, like getting to know you before it hearing like all the behind the scenes and, you know, the stress that went into it. And then I love watching it pay off for you. That was like fulfilling for me. So like I was only imagining how it felt for not only you, but everybody else.
It was exhilarating, bro. And I'm glad that we will be doing it again August 2nd, 2025 at the Ritz Theater. Make sure you pop out to Atmosphere Music Festival. You know, we are going to be doing phenomenal things. I hope you're there. You're hitting a stride, bro. You are doing phenomenal things. You hit 1 million streams.
I did.
1 million streams, bro. That is an accolade. That is a huge patch on your chest, bro. I'm super proud of you. And,
Thank
you know,
you,
they're going to make it into 2 mil, 3 mil. Steady followers, steady listeners, bro. You are definitely, you're starting to hit that stride, bro. You're about to turn that corner any day now, man. Any day now. So I'm super proud of you, man. I'm glad you came and joined me here again for episode 136 of the Middleman Podcast.
Yeah.
We're about to sign off the air here, my guys. So
let's do it.
If there's anything that you want to say to the people, any projects, anything that we skipped over, this is your chance.
Just tune into my latest single, Lies You Told. Look forward to a song. I'm dropping a song every month this year. Sound will only continue to evolve. All these songs I'm dropping this year will be consolidated into an album by the end of the year. I'm not gonna release what that album title is, but I do have the title and I do have the cover art already ready to go. And we'll talk about it off camera.
I don't know, bro. Last time you were here, you did drop your album name, and I'm
like, this one's not changing. This one's not changing. I'm pretty set in stone about this one. And the one I told you, I do remember what I said, and I still do have that idea for another one.
Well, no, you were, I think the first time you ever released Misery Loves Company, the title of the album was on the show.
Oh, word.
Was on this show.
Got you.
So you don't want to do it 2 for 2? You want to flip a coin?
Yeah, let's flip a coin.
All right,
let's flip a coin. Let's flip
Someone
a coin.
got a coin. Michael. Hey, Google.
I'll take heads.
Hey, Google, flip a coin. Shout out Google. Shout out Gemini. Heads. Heads.
Ah, shit. All right.
The coin. Can you say that again? Hold on.
The coin landed on heads.
All right.
All right. Man of my word. This song, the album title, I guess it would technically be 12 songs at least, bare minimum. I might throw a couple more on. Won't be more than 15 songs max. The album title is going to be Letters I Never Wrote.
There you have it. Letters I Never Wrote.
Letters I Never Wrote. So
Exposed
stay tuned to
Toxicc.
that. Yep. And man, I think that's about it. I mean, other than me coming back for part 3, I'm gonna be on Hall of Fame.
I'm
bringing the belt. I'm bringing the belt. So look forward to part 3. I don't know when it's gonna be. We don't know when it's gonna be, but it's gonna be. And that's all you gotta know.
Sometime next year, best believe it.
Yep.
And we are going to continue to grow as individuals, bro, as artists and people, bro. You 100%. Know, Zach and Exposed Toxicc are going to grow. The
Middleman and Kevin
are going to grow, guys. Yeah. So with that being said, everyone, I really appreciate you all for tuning in. I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing out. Peace.